Hi, and welcome to this fourth video in a series of how to create a simple set of web pages and a website using Dreamweaver CS6. And you should by now have successfully imported your fireworks navbar into your table and have two blank rows in your table, and that's what we're going to look at in this last section of this first set of videos. We're going to look at just putting some content into the table. Before we go any further, we just need to explore how we've used tables thus far. Your storyboards that you've done will contain hopefully quite detailed layouts of content. So you'll have images, blocks of text, maybe even buttons. So we've got a very basic layout here with just a single column on each row. So we at the moment wouldn't be able to create the kind of layouts that you've put together in your storyboards. You can add more tables and put tables within here, and that will allow you to create the kind of pages that you've set out in your storyboards, but we're going to do that later on. To start with, we're just going to put a little reminder into the table to show us what it's for and how we're going to use it later, and then we're going to put some text hyperlinks in. So the first thing I am going to do is just put a reminder in here, main content area. I will add more tables and content here, type here later on. Okay, so that goes in our middle row. We're not going to worry about that for the moment. Now we're going to do something with our bottom row now. Now you need to have your cursor flashing in the center of the row like this. Now yours may not be set so that it's in the center, so that's very easy to do. We're going to just click down to here, which is the button that allows you to set your horizontal alignment. Click on that and have it so it's set to center. So obviously left will bring it back to the left, which is probably where yours is. Right, we could put something on the right hand side, and obviously centers in the middle because we want our buttons neatly laid out in the middle. Now before we go any further, this bit is important. When I put my buttons on, I'm going to put them on just in case my navbar doesn't work. So I'm going to have a button that corresponds to a text link, that corresponds to each button on my navbar. So I can have two methods of going to each of these pages. Now I'm going to put the text links on that correspond to my navbar. You may have a navbar and a website that's going to contain more pages, or maybe even fewer pages. It might also have the pages in a different order. So don't just copy what I've done. Check what you're doing against your navbar and against your structure diagram, because all of these things need to be consistent with each other, or you're going to end up with problems. So I'm going to just type the name of each of the pages. I'm going to make it lowercase. I'm going to separate each page name with a space, but remember you can't put a space. I don't want you to put a space in the name of the page itself. So celebs, and for celebs, don't worry about the fact that celebs is actually a drop down menu. We won't worry about that. Blog. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the text just as if I was using Word or something like that. And then if I go down to the bottom, you've got a box that says link there, and if I click link, I need to type the HTML name of the page that link is going to go to. Now remember, for a home page, we don't put home, we put index.html. Okay. And then if I click at the start of the next one, look what's happened. It's worked out that I'm making a hyperlink, and that's turned it blue and underlined it, which is how you're probably used to seeing hyperlinks appearing. So that tells us it worked. I'm going to do the same thing with listing or listings. Sorry, make sure you highlight all of the text. Okay, so, and make sure as well that you spell the name of the pages properly and that they correspond with how you've named the pages for the navbar, or again it's going to end up later on not working properly. That's our listings.html, and I'm going to click at the start of celebs, and I'm going to highlight celebs, and I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to write name of this page is in this page, and you probably get understanding how to do this now. And then the last one, HTML, just click up there, and that is done. So those are should be working links that should tie in with the same pages that your navbar will go to. And that is as far as we're going to go for the moment. You've now created a very basic page with some space to add content and hopefully some working links. So what we're going to do, let's just have a look to see what your finished work looks like in a browser. I'm going to press F12. It'll ask me if I want to save changes, which I do. And there is my website previewed in the browser. And if I go over one of these, it's going to come up with an error because at the moment I haven't created those pages. But what it does tell you is that that works as a hyperlink. So in these series of videos, we've created a simple page, we've added some navigation elements to it and created some space for some content. And in the next series of videos, in the next series of tutorials that you're going to need to follow, we'll look at adding more pages, creating the formatting and the layout and the presentation of the pages so that they look good, and putting your content in. So well done for getting this far. You've created your first web page successfully. Have fun doing the rest of the work.